Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Jasmine Sung, the membership chair for the AAID. And as you know, this year marks our 75th anniversary, and we are going big. We're going to Nashville. We're going to celebrate. We've made a few changes. Our brilliant chair, Dr. Justin Moody, has a lot of things lined up. And I'm more excited about our speaker lineup. So we're going to highlight some of our outstanding speakers. And today, our first speaker will be Dr. Aditi Nanda. She is the Associate Professor of Prosthodontics at the AIIMS in New Delhi, one of India's premier academic and healthcare institutions. She's an internationally recognized educator, researcher, and clinician with more than 16 years' experience in prosthodontics and implant dentistry. Her contributions to the profession include nearly 45 Medline Index publications, 13 book chapters, and editorial roles with several leading dental journals. She also serves as the co-editor of South Asia's adaptation of Boucher's prosthodontic treatment for edentulous patients, one of the most respected textbooks in the field. In addition to her academic work, Dr. Nanda serves as the adjunct faculty for Jacksonville University as an academic associate fellow of the AAID and is a member of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. And she's also a master and fellow of the World Congress of Oral Implantology. So you can see Dr. Nanda is the ultimate educator, researcher, and clinician. She does it all. And I'm really excited because she will be lecturing at the AAID annual conference on Wednesday, September 30th. And it's titled Built to Last or Bound to Break, uncovering biomechanical culprits behind implant fixture fracture through a retrospective analysis. Dr. Aditi, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jasmine. You really embellished my profile a lot more than what it is.
No,
But it's really kind of you.
you're a lot more, actually. I could have kept going. So, for those of you who may not know you yet, tell us a little bit about your journey into the AAID.
So the journey into the AAID is, I would say, not a very routine one, how the AAID people are usually, the Mexico's graduates and then they go high up on the line. I would have to say that I am, and Dr. Iyer will not like me saying this thing, but I'm not a Mexico's graduate. But I got inducted into the faculty for library dissertations at the India Mexicos, the Bangalore and now the Chennai Mexico. So they have something very unique that they do. They write down library dissertations, which is where they start to kind of fish out all the literature related to any one topic that they're given. So Dr. Iyer thought that we need to police this, we need to streamline this. This is not normally what a clinician does, but to prepare the clinicians for future when the mentors are not there,
Right.
to handhold them, because after the 300 hours, the mentors cannot be constantly there for them. How does one actually go back and find the answer to the many questions every day that we, do our clinical cases? How do we confidently take that clinical decision when we have an evidence backing, maybe, the science backing it? So that was his intention, to get me into the AID Maxicos as a faculty. And I would have to say, I got very excited. I was like, oh, this is such an amazing course. And I always wanted to do the Maxi course, but you know how your profiles keep you entrenched in this thing. And I realized that this is one of the most structured course. The foundations and the advanced. And I was like, okay, this is how maybe it is in the rest of the world also. And he invited me over to his own office. And there, then, from there we went and he took me one day to I think it was a Rutgers Mexico. And I was like in awe in how much detail AAID is, kind of giving it away for the students. This is not how I would have to say, even the postgraduate curriculums are not failing people, in so much of depth, in so much of, there's so much of foundation as well as the advanced this thing. So I realized that This is one organization that I have to join. I was already a member of the IPS, the Indian Prosthodontic Society. I had attended the Academy of Prosthodontic, but then I was like, this is more exciting. And during this while, I kept meeting people along with, as I kept observing, I kept meeting clinicians who were always having that spark. Now, that is somehow missing in a lot of other academies. They're like, more, I don't know how to put it, but more maybe research, more. So now I could see that people were connecting the research and the actual clinical application in AID. So this is something which brought a lot of sense. This is why a society or an academy should be there, a group of like-minded people who are there to kind of problem solve for their patients and, come up with amazing solutions which are more predictable.
Yeah.
Because science gives you all kinds of numbers and they can confuse you with statistics and everything. But now I could see that each one, I came across Dr. Ratkowski, I came across Dr. Amit Vora, Rachna Hegre, and, everybody was coming up with such amazing clinical outcomes. And I was very impressed that this is how the research part and the clinical part can kind of meld. And AID is actually doing that. And it's been, I think, 5, 6 years. I've been a member of the AAID. And I'm loving it more than what I do with my prosthodontic societies. I mean, don't tell them that. But this is a more fun society, and
I love that. And speaking of which, when you're talking about how AID is helping to bridge research into the
yeah.
clinical aspect, that actually is what drew me to your lecture title. When I first saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, that's so relevant to us. So, can you give us a little bit more background about what you will be presenting at the AID and what made you want to research this specific topic? Yeah.
So, when I started implant dentistry after my post graduation, as I said that I'm not formally a Mexico graduate, so I was practicing in bits and pieces. We do whatever we do in our postgraduate curriculum; it's enough. But there was something which was kind of not, there was something amiss. I would have to say that I was doing new implant placements and prosthesis up until 2020. So 2020, I joined as a faculty at what you call AIIM. It's known as AIMS. It's AIMS New Delhi. Now, there what happened that I realized it's not just my cases that I have taken, it's the residents' cases. The residents who come and gone, their cases come back with complications. And it was one fine day when I realized one of the patients was coming for the screw tightening. It was the third time in 1 month. So the resident who was addressing that problem in the clinic, he came and he said that, ma'am, this is the third time in a month. And what did we do? I said, okay, we just tighten it, but I knew something was amiss. It can't happen like 3 times in a month. And so I went and I reached out all the literature. And then at the time I was working with Dr. Iyer on a lot of academic, assignments. We were writing down a chapter and everything. So I told him this problem because there was no other go-to frankly for me. And of course, he's the best. So he said that what you do is you take a radiograph and the next time that the patient comes without the crown, and you see to it that you examine with the Teflon probe, your crest module. There should be a continuity that you should feel. I said, okay. And soon enough, 2 days later, the patient came back with a loose crown. And what we saw was exactly what he was also suspecting, which I was kind of oblivious, because I'm an intermediary in my career profile. I'm not as experienced as him. I realized that, okay, yes, there is a little chip in the module. There was a fracture. And thereafter, I realized this is something now I have to get more vigilant, in my assessment of the patient complications. Because up until then, I was like more into managing the fresh cases. Now I had a completely different profile, and I knew that this kind of a pushback would come from the clinics. I have more complications to deal with. And you would not believe it when we started our vigilance, like when we started doing this protocol that every screw loosening, we would first, remove the crown, examine the screw, examine the module, take an RBG without the crown over there. I was amazed. There were many implant fractures coming, after about 7 years, 8 years of service. This is not like done wrong, but what was amiss by the clinicians who were the residents and the other faculty at the time. And I realized likewise somewhere my cases must be going.
Yeah.
So what is it that's really going? What are we missing? So I was like, let's go back in time. Let's come up with, what we've done. Let's read the literature. We kind of, repeat the data of almost about 4,000 patients. We're not going to, and this I'm talking about just single implants. I'm not even talking about multiple. It's in fact more common in single implants. So I was like, this needs attention. This needs something that we can't ignore. It's actually kind of getting masked by a manifestation of a screw loosening, and people don't dive deeper into it. And this is a critical topic, which
Yeah.
we can actually eliminate a major blind side in the clinics. Clinical blind side. This repetitive symptoms of screw loosening. It's got more to it than a simple screw loosening, and we need to address this thing. So the idea is to kind of reveal a diagnostic foresight.
Mhm.
I'm going to be talking about 5 factors about what are the bone characteristics, patient characteristics, implant characteristics, prosthetic parameters, surgical, features at the time of surgery. So I'm gonna peel it layer by layer now. I'm also gonna give them a checklist if they attend, so that they
Yeah.
get an insight into the thing that no point should be. I mean, you can't just blame on the brand of implant.
Right.
That's only one feature, and that's what I've been seeing. The people write down on Insta and Facebook, "Oh, this brand distracts more." But we gotta kind of peel the layers and look into it from a deeper perspective. That aside from the brand, what are the other points that we have to kind of take care of and avoid it? At least minimize it, if not avoid it completely.
Yeah, absolutely. Without giving away your entire presentation, but what are some key biomechanical factors that that do contribute to implant fixture fracture?
Dr. Jasmine, I would have to say that my presentation was given away last year at Phoenix. I did a poster on this particular this thing.
That's
And,
right. Yeah.
all thanks to you and Dr. Iyer, you guys just said this, go ahead with it, because this needs more attention. And I said, okay. So I will just say that I just pointed out, though, I just, enumerated
Yeah.
those points. So there's going to be details on bone characteristics, whether an augmentation, because sometimes we just, at the molar sites, we're like, okay, a 4.2 may be good enough, but that's not really the thing. So what should be your minimum diameter? What should be your implant characteristics for that?
Mm.
Patient characteristics. We often, in our clinical diagnosis, we're in the mad rush of doing an implant and it's just a single molar. This is doing, okay, bruxism might just be, and how do you identify bruxism in a patient if it's not very obvious?
Yeah.
And prosthetic parameters are going to be there. What type of a prosthesis is going to be the kindest?
Mhm.
What do you have to consider? We know that crown implantations otherwise don't matter, but where does it really matter in the coronal part, where once you have a bone loss, you're going to your module is going to give way. What kind of implant material is going to be there? Whether it's a CPTI or an alloy. So a lot
Yeah.
of it's going to be categorized in these 5 headings, but a lot of features would be studied. Some of them are protective,
Mhm.
and some of them are going to be disruptive, and we would have to keep that in mind. That's what the checklist would be helping a clinician with, as to what to keep in mind when they're planning. So it's not after. I had the misfortune of seeing it after. But if I'm already giving it to you before, at the time when you're doing your case selections and your diagnosis, what are the feature points that you have to kind of uh, keep in mind, and how can you maybe uh, take precautions that if this situation is there, let's say if bruxism is there, then what do you do? Can
Yeah.
you do any different kind of an implant selection. What can you do to your prosthesis? We all know splints are always there, but what
Right.
else can you do to mitigate? Because having seen all these cases and then doing the explantation, it's not a very kind thing to the patients. Not just morally they become weak, but surgically also it's a very morbid um, scene. We just wouldn't want that to happen to our patients, at least not frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I do see how frequent I'm seeing this problem more and more as implants have been around, for many decades. And I took over my own dad's practice and
Yeah.
I see it in our own cases too now. And it's just, I've,
It's heartbreaking, but even
yeah,
as a clinician, even if you've not done the case, you feel for the patient because
yeah,
I don't know how it's in the US, but in India, I know for sure they mix up fixed and permanent. So
yeah,
they feel it's permanent. And now my consults are like, it is fixed, but this is not permanent. It's not going to stay in your mouth forever. So not
right.
just from the fixture fracture point of view, from all perspectives of peri-implantitis or changing the crown after some time, I tell them that it comes with a lifetime, no lifetime warranty, but it comes with a lifetime.
I know. I always tell them our teeth were meant to last a lifetime. and you, and you always see what happens with that. Things happen. So I'm so excited about your lecture and
Thank you so much.
I feel that our attendees are going to get a lot of practical pearls that they can bring to their office, help with case selection, help with management. So let's move on. Um, Let me ask, as an educator and AAID member in India, what value do organizations like AAID bring to implant dentists around the world?
As I said, Dr. Jasmine, this is one of the most structured organizations that I've seen. There are lots of, I would have to say, features or assets that AID is having in itself that anybody in the world, including India, and especially India, I feel where implant dentistry is good, but it's a little bit of, how would we say, it's not so organized. So
Mhm.
AID is talking about fundamentals. They make the fundamentals very strong and advanced. It's the finest of blend. What we are seeing right now in those short term courses, in India, which are talking about 6 implants, 6 days, you can't learn that. So there are
Right.
courses, aside from AID, with local courses which are running, which are promising that they will make you an implant expert in 6 days. That can't happen, And then AID is having so much of CE, and which is there, whether of course it's in the study club or your implant institute, which is so brilliant. And I just love the fact that if somebody cannot travel to the US for the conference, if you're a member of AID, you can go and revisit the lectures. How cool is that? That's not there in any society that I've been a part of, any academy that I've been a part of. I'll be honest. So when I'm
Yeah.
saying society, what I mean to say is a scientific society. In India, we call them societies. It's a national
Yes.
in the US.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that and I found this in every person who's associated with AID. They are so open minded. They're not orthodox in the sense that everybody believes in unlearning and relearning.
Right.
And they allow you to do that. So I learned things a certain way during my PG and after my post graduation and everything. And I unlearned and relearned. Nobody was judging. Everybody's so cool about it that
Yeah.
you can go back and revisit the way that you've done and do it in a different way, and maybe you might get better results out
Yeah.
of it. So there's so much of value to this particular society, and I feel that it's just they also, keep that excitement in you. There's always something new happening today.
Yeah.
With so many small committees that we're a part of. Like I'm a part of communication, but suddenly I'm getting more excited. Okay, glad to connect with Dr. Jarrison for the memberships. I'm very excited about it. You don't need a formal tag, It's just so permissive. You just keep moving around and you just keep volunteering. And I feel everybody's very happy and joyous. So this is what I feel from India. I don't know how you guys feel in the US, but there's no politics. This is like it's all going very clean and it's happy. It's a happy spot place for us.
No, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly how I feel. I feel number one, AID really does provide a solid foundation.
Yes.
Gives the rudiments. It helps you to build upon that. And exactly what you said about how everyone is so generous with their knowledge and they're supportive. We're all trying to help each other out. I mean, I've never seen a society academy that is so supportive. I mean, everyone wants to help each other out. I have never had so many people reach out to me and say, "Hey, here's my number. If you need help with this, call me." And yeah, you're right. There's never any judgment. I just love it. Okay, now, um, what are you most looking forward to in Nashville?
Mm. I've never been to Nashville, as an Indian, it's usually like New York, New Jersey, those areas. Right? So
Yeah,
first is I'm excited about Nashville because it's going to be the actual American, and it's country music as I've given to understand.
yeah, yeah. You're right.
Right? Yeah. So
Yeah, country music.
I don't know, but is John Lennon anywhere in the country music thing?
John Lennon. You mean of the Beatles?
Oh, that is the Beatles. So there's
Yeah.
another one, another group. I don't know. So I was like, okay,
Okay. Yeah.
country folksy music. This is
Yeah.
going to be the true American picture that I'm going to get for the first time.
And Aditi, John Lennon is from the UK.
Yeah, right. I mix up the countries. So what's that? Who sung that song? Imagine.
Oh, that is John Lennon.
That is it. So I mixed up the countries. This is like continents also. But I'm really excited, So I'm going to learn a lot about America, I think, because New Jersey is more Indian. New York is a very cosmo, it's like, very fancy Mumbai, but this is going to be the actual American picture that I'm going to get, my understanding. But aside from that, I think at the AID, this is 75th. This is where we'll see how the legacy was created. This is how we're going to see how what the history is all about. It's so rich, and how we're all going to now get together to move onward and forward. I think somebody was saying that day. I think Dr. Patel, Haji Patel, he came to our institute and he lectured our residents, and he said that this is the golden time of dentistry. And in my mind, I was thinking that, okay, if this is the golden time of dentistry, then this is the implant dentistry is the diamond, and the AID is actually the solitaire sitting there. Okay, it's shining so bright over there right now with the 75th. So I just like feel that this is the time where we're going to see our rich past and our present and our future. Everything is going to get together, and we're going to learn a lot. We're going to be absolutely amazing camaraderie, and I'm still thinking which is the country music that I'm having in my mind.
Garth Brooks? Garth Brooks? I don't know. I'll send you some songs later.
I tell you, yeah, I heard this song. I don't know. Rednecks is from which from
I don't know. I don't
country
know.
anyway.
But
Yeah,
I wish we could claim John Lennon as our own. I wish.
it's so scary.
It's okay. No, I love it. It's hilarious.
I mixed up the continents. Like that's another, not just the countries, it's the continents. It's Europe and North America. Everything got mixed up. So much
That's
of
right.
plant is in my head right now.
No, I think you're right though. Actually, Nashville is a really vibrant city, and I've been a couple of times, and every time I go, I mean it has a lot of industry. And it just has a really cool walk. It's called Broadway. But this year um oh my gosh, what is it called? This year the president's reception is going to be held at a big venue, like a bar, and it'll be on Broadway. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Dr. Nanda. I know that you do need to run to the AID study club to host a lecture about implant occlusion, but I am super looking forward to Wednesday, September 30th to watch your lecture.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jasmine, and thank you, Matt, for being there. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.